friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Tori, and today we're going to talk a little bit about my June TBR. Now, I know you guys are used to watching me play the TBR game every month, and this month we're going to take a little bit of a break. We're going to set the cards off to the side because my really close friend Leah from the Instagram Leah Reads Stuff, which I will link down in the description box below, designed a Dungeons and Book Dragons readathon that we are going to be participating in during the month of June. We're going to be running a version of this readathon in my Discord with my patrons. However, anybody can play and be part of the readathon by going down to Leah's Instagram account and checking out all of her reels and links that she's been posting with the rules and how to play, and she has a link to the Google Drive with all of the graphics that you will need to choose a class, to choose your prompts, and to play along for the month of June. I am so excited to play along with this readathon, you guys, and what's awesome about it is that it is layered in such a way that it works for any pace, any type of reader. You get to choose the class that you want to do. If you want to be a barbarian, you fill out those 4 prompts. If you want to be a monk, you do those 4 prompts. And if you're a crazy speed reader and you get through a whole bunch of books during the month, you can multi-class and you can actually do prompts from multiple different classes. So it really allows you to read as few or as many books as you want. As long as you complete 4 books in the month of June, you win. So let's talk about my TBR for this readathon. I spent so much time figuring out this stack of books, and what's crazy about this is originally I was planning on multi-classing and running several different classes and doing a whole bunch of different prompts because you can use the same book for prompts on 2 different classes. You just can't use the same book for 2 prompts on the same class, if that makes sense. So I had it figured out to where I was going to read like 8 or 9 books and complete 5 classes for this readathon, and I was super excited about it because I do get very competitive with myself, and I was ready to go. And then I realized that there's absolutely no way that I'm going to be able to complete all of those things, especially not now that I am heavily into writing Queen's Wolf, which is book 2 in my epic fantasy series. So being a little bit more realistic, I decided to remove some of the competitiveness for myself, which I know is probably a little anticlimactic, but honestly, if you guys ever want me to publish another book, I have to be careful how much I commit to. But I am going to be running the Barbarian class for the June readathon. I know everyone is really shocked that that's the one that I picked, I'm sure. If I choose anything besides Barbarian, I don't know that I would ever live it down. So we're going to complete the Barbarian prompts. Now, the first prompt for the Barbarian class is Battle Scars. Read a book with a war setting. And that one is going to be The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. I will be buddy reading this with my friend Samwise. You can check out his channel down below as well. We've been talking about this for months, and I'm honestly really excited to finally get to this trilogy. These are chunks, so I am definitely starting out the readathon strong, especially where I'm trying to keep my time commitment with reading, you know, a little bit more flexible. But this is one that I've been planning on for pretty much since the beginning of the year when we first talked about it, and I've heard that despite its chunk status that it does read quite quickly. And this one is the debut novel by James Islington, who has gotten a lot of attention for his Will of the Many and Strength of the Few books recently. But I wanted to start with his debut trilogy so I can see how he grows as an author as I read through his canon of work currently. This book follows in the aftermath of a war against the gods that happened about 20 years prior to the book's beginning. And we're following a young man who realizes that he has these incredible powers that are now forbidden that come from those gods that were defeated. And I'm definitely getting a tiny bit of Chosen One vibe for this. However, I am not worried about it because I feel like just knowing what I know about this series and about James Islington's writing from other people, I think that this one is going to be a really great, unique twist on the Chosen One trope. And I'm just really excited to check this out. I've heard that it's very different from the way a lot of these kind of classic set up tales of fantasy are told. Now, I do see in some of the blurbs on this video that it is recommended for fans of Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson, which did give me a little bit of a pause. However, the friends that I have that have read this and loved it are definitely people that I trust, and so I'm really looking forward to just seeing how I feel about this and potentially finding a series that kind of travels in the vein of both of those other authors, but is something that fits to my reading taste maybe a little bit better. The next prompt on our Barbarian class sheet is Glorious Feats. Read a book with mountains on the cover. Now, you would think that as a fantasy enthusiast, I would have a ton of books with mountains on the covers. It was surprisingly less than I thought. I still had a good few to pick from, but I'm actually going to be doing a sci-fi for this prompt, which I'm super excited about because I have a lot of other fantasy going on in June. And I'm going to dig in to Into the Darkness by Charles Hack. Charles is one of my fellow honor anthology authors, and I have been making my way through some of their work this year and hopefully more in the months to come. And I have been just feeling a military sci-fi for the last few months. I'm very excited to check this out. There are mountains on the cover, as you can see back here. I absolutely love the color palette of this as well. I think it looks super cool. So this book is about a sort of special ops sci-fi military squad called the Space Warfare Group. And when a princess of an alien galaxy fails to arrive to some kind of a meeting on time, the Space Warfare Group is called in to investigate and find her. And I'm just excited. I'm so excited to get to some more sci-fi. I have been really loving the sci-fi reads I've had this year, and I am definitely in a military fiction mood after a couple of the reads that I did here in May. So I think this is going to be a perfect fit, and it's going to break up the fantasy that I will be reading for the rest of these prompts, which makes me very happy. I am very excited to get to yet another one of my honor anthology friends' works, and very excited that it's a sci-fi. Next one is Primal Champion. Read a book with an anti-hero protagonist. Now, this one was an easy pick because this is a series that I started in the month of May and am very excited to continue with, and that is The King's Blood by Daniel Abraham. This is book 2 in his Dagger and Coin series. I read Dragon's Path here in May and really enjoyed a lot of aspects of it, and it just brings to the forefront once again how much I love the way that Daniel Abraham creates characters that don't immediately fall into a hero or villain category. They're just kind of there, and they make decisions, and they feel very much like real people making real decisions and having real reactions to the things happening around them. And I love that. And things definitely were starting to ramp up through book 1. He did not waste any time getting the world moving, getting the characters moving, and surprising me with a lot of the things that happened and the decisions that were made. There are 5 books in the series. This is the second one, and I'm really looking forward to continuing this because I had a good time with book 1. So it's not too much of a chunk. I got through book 1 in fairly decent time, and I definitely want to try to get to one of these per month until I've finished the series this year, because gosh darn it, we're finishing the series in 2026. That was one of the goals. We're doing great. I'm also starting 2 series this month with 2 of these other prompts, but it's fine. It's gonna be fine. And our last prompt is I would like to rage. Read a book with a revenge theme. Now, because I had so many big chunky books on the stack prior to this, I decided to close out the prompts with a little number called The Bookburner's Fall, which is a Raven Shadow series novella by Anthony Ryan. And the Raven Shadow series begins with Bloodsong, takes place in that world, and this is 120 years prior to the events of Bloodsong, and we have a female assassin who is called in, I can't tell from exile or she's retired or something of that nature, and she's tempted back by an offer to kill someone called the Bookburner. And also there's a assassination of a king involved, but there is some personal retribution at stake for Kestra, who is our main character. So I'm very excited to check this out and read another novella. I read Many Are the Dead, which was another Raven Shadow novella last year and really, or earlier this year, last year, really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to checking out another one of Anthony Ryan's novellas. I think he's quite excellent at writing them. And yeah, it'll be fun to jump back into this world and just see what he's cooked up for us with this. But looking forward to ending my prompts with the easiest read of the 4 and getting my Barbarian class finished. Now look guys, this is the stack for the readathon. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think it's going to be really fun to get through all 4 of these. And I'm also completing 2 of my priority reads that I had for this year, because these 2 were both, one of these is a series that I'm reading and one of these was a buddy read priority. So I feel like we're accomplishing a lot with only 4 books, and I'm reading another honor anthology author, and I'm going into a novella from a series I've already read, which also feels great. So this feels like a really, really solid 4 books to get me going in June. Now, I will say that the rest of the time in June, if I get through all 4 of those, is going to be mood reading, because I do take breaks whenever I feel like it to do mood reading where I don't have anything tied to prompts or TBR game or anything like that, or buddy reads. And so I did pull a few books from the shelves to make kind of a pile of possibilities for June, things that are calling my name a little bit that I'm interested in reading, and we'll just see if and when I get to any of them in June. But I wanted to share them with you guys just so you could see kind of what was potentially on the docket outside of my readathon prompts. And I don't know where my mood is going to take me in June. We're going to be very busy as a family in June, as you might imagine. As summer gets going, the kids are going to be a lot more busy. We have a lot of trips planned, doing stuff with family, so it is going to be busy, and I don't know how much time I'm going to have to write and read. So we're just going to see how it goes. But one of the things I definitely intend to do is get back to Cat Plus Gamer. I had so much fun with these when I did my manga reading challenge, the first 3 volumes. I have 3 more volumes, which is 4, 5, and 6. And after this, there's only 2 more. It's a very short little manga series, super wholesome and fun. I absolutely love it. It is about a young woman who, well, not, I mean, she's, you know, she's late 20s, I think, and she has a 9-to-5 job, and then she goes home and she is a die-hard video gamer, fantasy nerd, and she has a very reserved private life from all of the people around her. And one day, in volume 1, she accidentally ends up with a cat, and so you have this super fantasy video gamer nerd woman who ends up with her first pet, and it's just it's a beautiful story. It is so wholesome. I love this series so much, and it's gonna be the perfect palate cleanser after all of these big chunky epic stories. So definitely planning on getting to some more of Cat Plus Gamer, and then I'm gonna have to find the last 2 volumes and finish the series, because I just love it so much and I can't wait to read more of it. Another honor anthology author that I was kind of hoping would work for a prompt, and it just didn't with the books that I'd already picked, is Heist of Hearts by E.A. Winters. E.A. Winters, again, is another anthology author, and this, I think she published this last year. This is book 1 in, I believe, a trilogy, and I think book 2 just came out somewhat recently. And I absolutely love, I know I showed you guys this on the book haul, but I love when authors make the inside of their books really pretty. So her chapter heading pages are gorgeous. This is a fantasy romance, you guys. Like, nobody faint, but I've really been intrigued by this because it's a heist. I think it's a little bit of a dark curse kind of situation, where these 2 characters are cursed, where they have to stay apart from each other, and of course, as a romance novel would dictate, that's not going to be possible. What I like about this, and one of the reasons why I'm so excited to try it, is because A, I'm determined to find some romance stories that I don't hate, and 2, I know that this is not going to be focused on the sexual relationship between the characters, because that's not the type of writer that E.A. Winters is. And I appreciate that so much, because when you kind of step back from that, everything else in the story gets to actually have part of the stage, which I think is so important for romance, and one of the reasons why I very rarely appreciate a lot of the modern romance, because the focus is so heavily on the physical aspect of the relationship that there's really no room for anything else, or it just kind of overshadows everything else. So I'm really excited about this. Plus it's a fantasy, so I get the fantasy, I get the romance without the heavy focus on the sexual aspect of the relationship, and there's a curse and there's a heist. This just sounds like a great time, and I'm really excited to try it. Next up is Nightborn by C.S. Friedman. This is the short novel prequel to the Coldfire trilogy, which I did finish in April and just had an amazing time with. It's so thought-provoking. It's so sci-fi, fantasy, horror, dark character storytelling. And I'm really curious to see the prequel about humankind coming to the planet of Urna for the first time. It is a first contact story, not just with the life forms on Urna, but also first contact with the magic that exists on Urna and all of the fae and all of that sort of thing. So I think that this is going to be awesome, and I look forward to returning to the world and seeing a very different part of the timeline without the characters that are in the Coldfire trilogy. I just got this, and I don't think it's going to be a super long time before I read it, because I'm really excited to go back to the world. These almost made it onto my readathon TBR for the anti-hero protagonist prompt. However, I'm just going to read them anyways, and that is the next 3 Claymore manga volumes. I wish I had gone back to the series before this, to be honest. With all the other reads I've been doing, I haven't had time to come back to Claymore, and I think part of that is because I only have 5 volumes of this series, and that makes me really sad because I'm gonna have to like wait for the next ones, and I don't like that. I saw the anime series of Claymore back in high school, and I absolutely loved it. I love the characters in this story. I love the depth of it. I love the battle angel kind of aspect to these characters. It is very conflicted. These are very tormented characters, which I always love, and I just can't wait to keep going in this series. There's 21 volumes total, so this one is a little, I mean, it's not long by any means, comparatively for manga, but I want to go back to the series. I'm very excited to read some more of this because there's a character I'm waiting for in this series that I remember from the anime, and I can't remember exactly where she shows up in the story, that still lives in my brain rent-free. She's one of my favorite female characters in all of fantasy, so looking forward to meeting her again in the book format. Last but not least, if I am still on a sci-fi kick after reading Into the Darkness, I pulled Mission of the Roark by Erica Evren, another Honor Anthology author. And this one is a little bit shorter. I believe all 3 books in this trilogy are out now. Our main character fulfills a lifelong dream when he is brought on to pilot a battle starship in the chaos of the war that is brewing, and he is immediately face to face with the fact that he is going to have to decide whether or not he has to sacrifice his morality for the decisions he's going to have to make during this war. This is another sci-fi that I have been side-eyeing on my shelves for a while, and I'm really excited to read it. And I think I'm in the mood for sci-fi in June. I really do. I think we'll see if Into the Darkness and Mission of the Roark can kind of slate my enthusiasm for sci-fi enough, or if I'm gonna end up dropping some of my other mood reads and reading something else. A close friend of mine is reading Leviathan Wakes right now, and it's giving me a lot of FOMO, I'm not gonna lie, because I know that that is one that you guys have been waiting for me to read for a long time. It's one that I've been waiting to read for a long time, and I just haven't yet. So we might just have to have a sci-fi month one of these months and just binge all the sci-fi on my shelves. That'd be kind of fun. But anyways, that's essentially what I'm looking forward to reading in June. I'm really excited about all of these. And again, outside of my readathon prompts, I'm not entirely sure. I think it's very likely that I'm going to get to the manga. And from the books, we'll just have to see what strikes my fancy, or I might go to something on my shelves completely unrelated to anything I've shown you on this video, because that is also okay. I would love to know down in the comments what you are looking forward to reading in June. If you're a mood reader, is there anything that's been kind of pulling at your attention lately from your shelves that you might get to? Do you have a strict TBR? If you do, let me know what it is. And if you decide to join us for this readathon, which you should definitely do, tell me down in the comments what class you picked and what books you're going to be reading for your prompts. I really would love to hear what you decided. So I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. I hope that you are reading some 5-star reads. I hope you're definitely planning to go down in the description box, click that link to Leah Reads Stuff on Instagram, and download all of your graphics for the readathon. And I will see you in the next video.